week, we had our first session for the category first and last mile, and today we focus on processes, digital and data, and I'm convinced that we'll learn again about a number of exciting solutions for the postal and parcel markets. My name is Bernhard Buckhoffs. I'm the chairman of the Postal Innovation Platform. It's my pleasure and honor to guide you through this competition today. And let me also thank our partners for this event, which are Swiss Post, Austrian Post, and Parcel+Post Expo. As I said, today's session is part of a first round of our competition with 3 categories, and I just mentioned the first one, first and last mile, which we had last week. Today it's process, digital, and data, and next week we are going to have e-commerce, retail, and cross-border. We'll have pitches from our startups today, followed by Q&A from the judges. In total, each startup will have 8 minutes, and we are strict with the time. Those of you who have watched last week, they know it. It's really 8 minutes. Our suggestion to the startups is use 4 minutes for your pitch, 4 minutes for presenting your solution, product or idea, and 4 minutes at least for the judges to ask questions and to discuss with you. And you know, our judges, they want to know a couple of things. They all come from postal operators, or have a very, very strong postal background at least, and they are very curious of how your solution could work within their environment. The judges will also have, if we have enough time, the possibility to briefly reflect on the pitches at the end of the session. At the very end, once this public session is over, the judges will have their non-public discussion, and during this non-public discussion, they'll choose the 3 startups that will qualify for the finals that will take place on the 12th of October at Parcel+Post Expo in Vienna. So those 3 shortlisted startups will also be announced today after the session, during the day evening, most probably. The startups for today are AllRead, NITe, Crono Log, qboid, and Tradler. SensorTech was also on board, and those of you who have seen the website, they well know that there should have been a 6th startup, but unfortunately they were running into some difficulties, unforeseen difficulties today, so they had to cancel, unfortunately, this morning. The judges, I'll present them now as well. We have Thierry Golliard. He's Director Innovation, Open Innovation and Venturing at Swiss Post, and he's also the chair of the judging panel. Hi, Thierry. We have Marc Sarmiento. He's the head of research and innovation for Austrian Post. Hello, Marc. Elmar Toime from Toime Consulting. He was also the CEO of New Zealand Post, member of the supervisory board of DHL, and he's the member of the supervisory board of Qatar Post. Hello, Elmar. We have Christian Oestergaard. He's the senior group strategist of IT production, IoT, AI at PostNord. Hello, Christian. Alessandro Filigenzi, Innovation Manager at Poste Italiane. Hello, Alessandro. And not yet joined as far as I can, or maybe yes, Victoria, you have joined us, I think, in the meanwhile. Victoria Pagnon, she's Program Coordinator French IoT at Docaposte, Le Groupe La Poste. Hello, Victoria, as well.
Hi, everyone. Thank you.
Pleasure having you with us. Before we start, Thierry, you are the chair of the judging panel, as I just said, and what are your expectations of the session today? And is there any message you want to give to the startups for today's session?
Yes, thank you, Bernard, first for organizing and moderating this award. It's actually great to see you, also my fellow judges, again for this second batch, in which I expect, by the way, like in the first batch last week, out-of-the-box thinking for our postal industry. And in that sense, my message to the startups is quite obvious. Inspire us with disruptive ideas, and grab the chance actually to exchange today with executive business experts who are going to help you to assess the potential collaboration in their companies. I'm confident you will successfully fulfill this expectation, and I'm just wishing you all the best for the future pitches. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Thierry. Okay, let's get started. The first startup, as I said, will be AllRead, and I would like to give the floor to Miguel. You ready?
I'm ready. Thank you, guys.
We can't hear you, Miguel. Now we can hear you, I guess.
Can
Yes,
you hear me?
Good.
Can you hear me now? Okay, excellent. All right, so I'm gonna share my screen.
Yes, we can hear you.
Well, I don't know. I can't see. Let me see. I can be sharing. You know, I'm using Microsoft Teams all the time, and now switching to WebEx. It's a bit tricky, but I hope it's working. Okay, can you see my screen now?
No, now it's opening. Yes.
Okay, now
So
you
it's
can
opening.
see it.
Yeah, now we can see it. It's good.
Excellent, excellent. Just want to make sure. All right, can you see full screen now?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. So I kick off. Thank you very much, guys. My name is Miguel. I'm the CEO and co-founder of AllRead, and we are a plug-and-play computer vision software for smart logistics. So basically, the problem we are trying to solve, we are surrounded by text, codes, and symbols everywhere in operational environments, logistics, Industry 4.0, and mail companies. They are suffering this problem as well, and they are surrounded by barcodes, QR codes, and text of any type. So basically, what we are trying to do is to solve this problem using one computer vision solution to identify, track, control, and monitor any asset in logistics supply chain using existing cameras, no hardware involved besides the existing cameras. Obviously, we can choose this and apply to logistics, but at the end of the day, a mail company is a logistics company too. So we are a spin-off from the Computer Vision Center of Barcelona. It's a technology has been developed for 5 years. It's a deep learning network model that has been training with big data. And basically what we do is to train it with specific text, codes, or symbols we need to identify and basically be converted in big data. I'm going to show you one example about what we do. This is the Barcelona port. The train is passing by using any camera, any CCTV camera. As you can see, our software can detect the container ID, the vacuum number, or any kind of symbol or text we are training to do that. This is Bilbao port, and as well in the port of Lyon. We got another one track coming in, and we just identify not just text, but the dangerous good symbol or any kind of symbol, text, and code we try to extract. So another example that basically is what we have been working with Correos in Spain, the mail company in Spain. We got a project there to identify PO Box because basically the OCR system was not able to identify around 90% of it. So basically, we train our model using any camera, in the hub, in different hubs of Correos, and we were able to identify 99% of every single PO Box. Besides that, we as well apply the same model for barcodes, QR codes, so we can deploy the software not just in the hubs, but in any mail operator delivering the mail or the package. As well, I mean, as you can see, we have a system there reading the barcodes, QR codes, or software solution can be deployed in desktop, or we can deploy it as well in a mobile application, as you can see on the right side. Well, we are only 2 years old. In 1 year, we were doing pilots. Now we are already, converting clients. We got 10 recurrent clients besides Correos. As you can see, mostly logistics company in Spain, Portugal, France. We are growing very fast. We are already adding 1 million plus revenues and €500,000 annual contract value with some of them. Our software is available on our website. You can try it by yourself. Tomorrow you want, we can give you a login and password, and you can make sure if our software can detect the symbols, codes, or text, and you can subscribe later on or SaaS model or on-prem model. Just to finalize, our team, 15 people from 7 different countries. We are growing to 30 people this year with our latest funding round. Well, basically, this is what we are. We are AllRead, and we read what you need. Thank you very much, guys. I'm going to stop sharing my screen now so you can kick me and read the questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Miguel. I hand over to the judges, please. It's your turn.
Hi, if I may. Hi, Miguel. Gracias. Very good presentation. Just a quick question. How good has the camera to be in order to read the text? And how long would it take you to learn patterns for specific countries?
Thank you. It's a very good question, by the way. Actually, our big value proposition is that all the examples you have seen in our presentation are done with normal cameras, security cameras, even Android phones. So you don't really need, a very high resolution or a lot of frames per second. Obviously, if you have, let's say, a lot of packages coming, in one lane, and you want just to read very fast, we recommend you to go to 60 frames per second and high definition. But the idea of this software is to basically use any camera, any normal camera, and basically be read frame by frame. And when we reach a 99%, accuracy in the read, we basically extract this text, this symbol, and we just pass it to the ERP system. That is again our biggest value proposition. And well, we need at least 2-3 weeks to fit with data. The most important thing is our own technology. We don't need too many photographs, too many videos. The big problem in artificial intelligence, in deep learning, is you need maybe too much data. So basically with 2,000, 3,000 photographs or 3-4 hours of video of the text, code, or symbol, or different Chinese characters. For example, in Correos, they were asking us to extract Chinese characters. So we are doing that because sometimes the people write the PO box in Chinese numbers. So it's very fast. It's 2-3 weeks with using the deep learning. We can really learn or train or model in less than 1 month to extract, detect, and convert in big data any text, symbol, or code. That's what you're looking for.
Thank you. Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you for the question. Thank you very much.
Hi, Miguel. Another question regarding the go-to-market. What is your strategy there? How do you strategically collaborate also with the hardware suppliers?
Good. Basically, the big problem of spin-off in startups is the danger to become consultants, right? When you are working in deep tech. So basically, we are trying to get sometimes away from hardware companies. We are more reliable to work with consultants or partnerships, people working with software, because they know already all the integration. The biggest challenge of a B2B company, a software company like us, is the integrations with the terminal operative systems, with the Azure, with several ERPs or systems that we need to integrate our software. So basically now, as any company with 1 million very close turnover, we have already 10-15 integrations. But as you know, any company doing 10-20 million annual recurring revenue, they got until 200 integration. That is the biggest challenge. And obviously, for example, just to give you an example, we work with Naturgy, the biggest gas company in Spain, and we do a go-to-market strategy, in Spain, in Mexico, Brazil, and we grow internally. And externally, obviously, when we get a model for Correos done, we can, deploy this model for different mail companies or different companies working logistics worldwide. That is our key. We always train our models for standard text, standard codes, standard, symbols, so we can deploy and scale very fast.
Miguel, one question. Handwriting, reading on mail items and so on is really well established. Every sorting operation has that globally. Have you thought of other applications in the postal sector? I've seen your logistics identifying trucks and transport vehicles. Are there any others specific to our industry you could identify? Just very briefly, because we're running out of time. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Elmar. Thank you. A good question as well. So basically, your model as well can scale as well to identify, for example, if a sea container got the seal. Every single container needs a seal. So we are already scaling our model to identify not just text, codes, or symbols, but if they got a seal, if the height of the container is right, if the container has been damaged. You are right. So many companies are doing that, but rely on hardware too much. So we try to do this using any camera and just relying on the software and giving all the heavyweight power to the software. I don't know if this answers your question. Thank you.
It might answer mine, Miguel, because yes. I was interested in things which are not digital. Shapes.
Shapes. Okay.
Yeah. Are you into those as well?
Yeah, we are, as I told you, we are already trying to get in the shape, because every single logistics company is asking us not just for the text and code, but the sea container they need to make sure the seal is there. So using the same video clip in Bilbao port, we can identify the presence or not of the seal. And again, the container damage as well is a huge problem in shipments. To make sure the container has not been damaged. That's why we are applying shape recognition and detection of specific assets in the supply chain. Yeah, that is a huge way to scale to different ecosystems, not just in logistics, but in industry 4.0, utilities, etc., even smart cities as well.
Perfect.
Okay,
Good.
thank you, guys.
Thank you very much, Miguel. A lot of questions.
Thank you.
Seems there was a lot of interest. That's excellent. Good start. Thank you very much again.
Thank you.
Okay, let's move on to
Thank
our
you,
next
guys. See you
startup.
later.
And thank you, Miguel. Let's move on to our next startup. Adolfo Santoro of NITe is with us, and
Okay.
the floor is yours.
Okay, I'm trying to share my screen.
Yes, it works. It just
Okay.
opened. Good.
Okay, so hi everyone, I'm Adolfo, I'm CEO and co-founder of Natural Intelligent Technologies. At NITe, we build reading machines with artificial intelligence algorithm. NITe was born in 2012 as a spin-off company from University of Salerno, south of Italy. Now we are an innovative SME with a team of 8 people and more than 10 customers in 6 different countries. Well, the problem we are facing is the postal dispatching process. That is basically the process of digitizing and written envelopes, extract information from them, and correctly dispatch to the destination is still manual at 40%, with several issues related to data. For instance, data missing, data inconsistency, and data privacy related to the video coding process. So the solution is our AI flagship technology for handwriting recognition. It's an AI-based technology that is based in Italy, US, Israel, and Europe. Is fully independent of the writer, the language, and the alphabet, and moreover is able to work in combination with other AI technologies such as bots or other existing solutions. The impact of our AI solution on the postal dispatching process is related to the rejects that are basically more than 12% of rejects per year. Rejects are basically the handwritten envelopes that are not processed by the current existing solutions are correctly dispatched per year, with a reduction of processing time of 70% of the time, with an estimated savings for the postal operator from 3 to 4 million euro per year. And finally, the estimated ROI for an AI pilot of our solution is a range of from 6 to 8 months. Here you can find several references on our technology that has reached TRL 7 with several pilots and industry-relevant installations. For instance, Swiss Postal Operator, American System Integrator, and Italian Utility Service Company. The business model is based on 3 different modes. Traditional on-premise offer for large and medium companies, AI software as a service on cloud offer for small and medium companies, and we are building a network of partners and distributors in order to licensing and integrate our SDK. The team is composed of researchers, professors, and engineers who have created this amazing technology, to which we are currently adding skills in business development and sales area. Today I'm going to show you a case study for postal automation that could be useful for all postal operators. For instance, we were one of the 10 winners of Post Venture 2017 competition organized by Swiss Post out of 300 projects, with the goal of proof of concept was to make the postal dispatching process more efficient by recovering the rejected envelopes. Finally, we won several awards and prizes during our life. For instance, we won the Seal of Excellence quality label from the European Commission in the Horizon 2020 program for our project NBB. So please get in touch with us. Here are our references, and we'll be glad to answer to all your questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Adolfo. Thank you very much for your presentation. Back again to the judges. Who wants to ask a question?
Maybe I can start with the first question. It seems that you are in a lot of pilots. Are you generating revenue yet?
Yeah, we are. We have several here of course, revenue. At the end of 2017, we reached a break-even point, and we are at more than 100K of revenue this year, despite the pandemic situation, of course. So yeah, of course, we are looking for scaling up our solution by implementing our go-to-market strategy, especially establishing a partner program with, as I mentioned before, several resellers and distributors in order to scale up our solution also in other verticals, not only the postal automation, insurance, banking, but also utility service and telecommunication sectors.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
If I could just ask, similar to questions asked before, is there a technology dependence in terms of the cameras that you use? You know, I'm just thinking of the mail sorting process. You're being used on mail that has already failed, if you like, the first read and scan. So now it's gone somewhere else. So what technology dependence do you have at that point? Is it just
thank you for
yeah.
Yeah, thank you for your question. Well, no, because the software is completely independent also of the platform and the hardware. So the cameras related to the software video coding and postal dispatching process. Of course, as also Miguel mentions before, better is the quality of the camera, and the higher is the resolution, better will be the results of in terms of accuracy, in terms of also recognition rates of the system. But typically, it's not dependent of the hardware.
Are you reading in sequence, or are you using fuzzy logic, or how do you see the image?
Okay, thanks for the question. Well, the technology, the approach is completely new. Is patented. Is based on avoiding the typical segmentation problem in the handwriting. So recovering, for instance, the single characters into the word in order to read the word. And so the approach is based on a completely new approach that allows our technology to train on a specific problem just with a few hundreds of images, and is also able to customize also in different languages and alphabet by using very few images and just very few dictionaries, a lexicon of the specific language or alphabet. So yes, the customization process requires a few weeks as well.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Adolfo. Good presentation, good questions, good answers. Excellent. Let's move on to the next presentation, which is Crono Log. And Fabrizio, he sent a message that, I mean, he was connected before, but I think he had connection problems. But I see that Dario is with us. Dario, will you make the presentation?
Yeah, sure. Let me just share the screen.
Yes, it opens. We can see your first slide.
Okay. Is that okay? You need it bigger, or is it fine enough?
You can go in presentation mode if you want.
Okay.
Yeah. So now it's Presentation mode is good.
Okay, good. So, can I start? Okay.
Yes,
So,
please.
hello, yeah. Hello, everyone. My name is Dario. I'm CTO of Crono Log. I want to present today our startup and the product that we are devising. So, okay, so we are focusing mostly on 3 pillars. So, first mile, last mile. So everyone knows what it is, and process, digital, and data. The idea behind this is that we want to collect all data in the supply chain from start to end of the logistic chain, and enriching data with our algorithms in order to present some useful information, for example, to the stakeholder in each step of this chain. So the first problems we are going to solve is lack of real-time data in these logistic hubs, and the huge amount of data that we have to analyze. So most of the time, this is not key competencies of the hubs of our clients. So we provide a turnkey solution in order to connect, gather all this data and correlate through our algorithms. So the objective here is to, depending on which step we are, is, for example, getting data. For example, we can get data from the raw materials for the packaging, also to identify the product packaged, thanks to a product that we are building, let's say a sensor. The second step is the onboard sensor. This is for example, sorting machines or automation machines. So we are devising these sensors that are self-powered, self-connected to the network. So there is no, let's say, intervention on the machine itself. It is just plug and play. And the third one is the HS code. With this, and just generate the HS code automatically, saving a lot of time and quality of the job for this project also. All these projects are driven by some pilot projects, some clients, which are driving the project. So let me go quick because time is passing through. What are the objectives of our dashboard? So first is labor performances. We can monitor the performance of the workers in the app. Of course, automation performances. So we can know exactly how many items are processed, and if there is any possible problem with, for example, with sorting of packages or packaging of the items. And last but not least, parcel content identification. We are able also of tracing packaging material, as I said before. So just 30 seconds. So first and last mile, let me skip here. Problem, waste of time, security distancing, and bad user experience. Of course, everyone knows what does it mean making a queue at the postal office. So we have devised an automated self-desk that is capable of waiting and dimensioning the packages for automatic dropping, but also for returns, not only for sending, but also for returns. We have developed an application to track all these processes simply at home. Okay, just in time, I think. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Dario. The timing was very good. So, to the judges, it's up to you to ask questions now. Who wants to start?
Well,
Dario, can you explain a little bit more on how you are doing the workload measuring? Are you basing on tax on employees, or how do you do this?
Yeah, you mean this part, the labor performance.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So as we get all this information from the machine itself, we can also correlate this with some ERP system. But the point is that we can correlate all performances of the machine or the items to the shift. So we know that, for example, for a specific shift, it was, for example, slower than some other team. Or we can also correlate, for example, the whatever information of the item processed. For example, if there are bigger items or small items for a specific shift. We can understand if there is any adjustment to be done and to make it smoother. Also, we know, for example, for sorting machines, which are the exits which are, let's say, loaded the most frequently. So we can optimize also routing, just analyzing how often one exit is filled or how quickly is filled, or if there are some exits which are not filled at all. So we can distribute the workload evenly through the team, through the exit and between teams.
Could you just give me an example of how you've used that for measuring labor productivity?
So far we are in development phase, so we don't have let's say a real use case at the moment, but we are deploying the solution for one first client.
But the issue is the collection of that data. I can understand a machine is producing data, you're analyzing it, it takes you some time. But where in other applications, the input of the data, the systems that are used in the operation that then have to be input to you, that you know, how do you describe that interface?
So, if I well understood, you mean about you're concerned about privacy or this kind of?
No, that's a separate one. I can understand that, but I'm just saying, if you're saying you're developing something that might look at labor productivity, then what are the inputs that you would need? Where would you get that information from? What would be the effort required by your customer providing you and the interface and so on?
Yeah, so yeah, okay, I understood. In this case, we'll need to, for example, to connect the control unit of the machine to the internet in order to get data about, for example, the shift and any entry, for example, data that can be, for example, inputted in the panel of the machine, for example. So we can read all of this. So depending on the client, we can customize and following the needs, either connecting the machine to the internet or following what has been inputted into the screen, into the display.
Good, perfect, Dario.
Thank you.
Time is over. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And we move over to the next presentation. And Tony is with us. Are you ready?
I am. Hello, good morning, good afternoon.
Please, the floor is yours.
Okay, let me start. Can you see the
I only stop
presentation?
the time when you're ready. So
Okay, can you see the presentation?
yes, we can see the first page of your slide. Great.
Okay, great. Thank you. Hi, everybody. I'm Tony Zuccarino. I'm with qboid. We're located in San Jose, California. I guess I'm the only USA company here. It's 5 a.m. here, 5:30 a.m. So I hope I'm going to make some sense to you today. So our story is pretty simple. We help our customers store, ship, and pack items optimally. We do that by helping our customers capture dimensional and shape data of these items that they might ship and pack very easily and cost effectively. The benefit there is that we recover excess costs and waste from storing these items incorrectly in storage and or inefficiently packing and shipping them. And this is typically related to bad volumetric data. So let's go to the next slide. How do we capture this data? So we do it with a device that we've developed. We call it the qboid M1 Perceptor. It's basically a Android smartphone type form factor. And it has some special 3D and 2D sensors built into the back here. That's why it's a little bit fatter than a regular Android device. And it has a very simple, easy user interface. It's similar to taking a smartphone picture. You point and click at an item you want to get the size and shape of, and some real-time computer vision takes over, analyzes the item, and produces dimensions and shape analysis in about 1/10 of a second. I'll show you a demo on the next slide in a moment. And as well, we have an integrated 1D, 2D barcode scanner as well, so you can associate the dimensions with the UPC or other unique code. The results are immediately sent over Wi-Fi to a WMS or a database, or you can offload the results over USB as well. We've been beta testing the M1 here since about Q4 of last year with customers in the US, the European Union, and Asia Pacific area. We are going to be in production of this device in Q3 of 2021, and it's the target price of about $2,000 US. So let's look at how we might use the data that this device generates. Let's start in the receiving department. So I'm going to show you a little demo of how the object works. Basically, I just point and click the preview window at an item, and within 1/10 of a second, you see that we dimension it. So I'm repeating the video a few times. So I might want to update my master data for this cushion that I might want to store, I might want to ship, I might want to pack. The results of that analysis are sent in a JSON file over Wi-Fi to somewhere, very easy over HTTP. The data record looks like what you see in the middle there in the yellow box. There's a picture of the pillow with the background segmented away from it. That's useful to update for master data for maybe picking instructions later. Of course, we send our most important data, the length, width, and height of the box that would minimally ship that item or the storage volume you would need to store that item. As well, we discern whether the item is cuboidal or box-like, so you can stack it, or whether it's irregular and it's not proper for stacking. As well, any barcode read that was done with the barcode reader and other information that a user can type in manually is uploaded. Of course, we can upload that to a master database, or we can send it to our cartonizer. What the cartonizer does is it takes one or more items with their weight and dimensions, compares it to a selection of shipping boxes and shipping costs, and finds the optimal solution, reducing shipping costs. So let's look at an example here of the kind of benefit that we can provide by providing good volumetric data. Let's just look at the middle row here, the second row in this table. If the box size used to ship an item is off by as much as 10% in the length, width, and height of the box, then the customer is potentially wasting about 20% of the cardboard corrugate used to make that box. And of course, we're always trying to reduce waste in this area. As well, believe it or not, I mean, it's kind of a surprising result, but this is actually based on one of our customers' actual negotiated rate table with FedEx. But based on the extra dim weight that a customer would ship by having their box be off by 10% in lane width and height would actually be about $8 US. So the savings can be pretty significant. This is just for one shipment. Obviously the pillow is a little bit bigger, so that's why the penalty might be $8. But imagine fixing this inaccuracy or this inefficiency for tens or hundreds or thousands or tens of thousands of items per day, as some of our customers have at each one of their sites. So the savings can be quite significant. So I'll just pause there and just take questions. I think everything's pretty self-explanatory there.
Thank you, Tony. Back to the judges.
Tony, I think it's a very interesting product you have here. How large are the largest sizes that you can do a dimensioning on?
Yes, right now the maximum dimension that we would want to attempt with this device here, using the 3D sensors we have, is about 1 meter. So it shouldn't be taller than 1 meter or longer than 1 meter. Though we are developing and have shown ourselves software where we can dimension even large furniture items by moving around the object once or twice. So we anticipate that we will even be able to capture pallet size, or objects the size of sofas, couches, things like that, for example.
Because you're spot on for what we are working on in logistics is always to minimize the air in the cartons for transport costs. But another thing I was thinking on, do you look into revenue protection? Because that is something that we all have in our logistical business quite big problems with, because our customers sometimes underestimate the sizing of their shipments, and we have to correct them. Did you look into that part of as a possibility for your business?
Yes, some customers are going to use our data for that purpose. Actually, interestingly, some customers want to capture the dimensions using our device for every shipment they put out, because many times FedEx, UPS here in the US, maybe DHL there, will send them overages because they misestimated the dimensions of it on their side. And so our customers will use this device and other devices I don't have time to show here to actually audit the carrier's billing and recover some of those audit charges.
Are you freezing the bounding box that you have in the picture so you can use that as documentation?
Oh yeah, actually, what I didn't show is we actually create a 3D model of the item that we're dimensioning. So you not only have the bounding box you saw fixed as part of the data you can upload, but you actually also have the 3D model. So it's very difficult to dispute. It's very difficult for someone to dispute your dimensions you capture, because we have the 3D model here.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tony. Good pitch. What's the value of having a specific hardware in comparison with a standard smartphone?
Yeah, very good question. So I don't know, some of you may have noticed there's some news last week that Google dropped support for the Measure app, which was actually doing that on just a regular smartphone. And if we could have done that and just developed software, believe me, we would have. But we just know from working this space for more than 10 years that, and that's the reason why Google dropped using AR for measurement of items, because it's just too coarse and it's too flaky. You actually need a specific 3D sensor to really fix the context of the scene and make this happen as fast. This is really all about speed. Really, within 1 or 2 seconds, the workflow is done for each item. Can't do that with an AR core device. You can try this on Apple, you can try this on Google. It just doesn't work. Our customers really need solutions that work. They don't mind paying for specific hardware if it can deliver speed and accuracy.
What about lighting conditions? Will it operate out in sunlight, bright light, dark backgrounds?
Yeah, so because these kind of sensors, as some of you may know, carry their own illumination, we could do this dimensioning in pitch darkness, in absolute darkness. Of course, the image that we save wouldn't look very good. Where this has more trouble is in the outdoors, where there's a lot of sunlight interfering, where this might do a little bit better. But in that case, we actually have 2 types of 3D sensors built in. We're going to bring up the second 3D sensor, which is more robust to a sunlight interference.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Tony.
Thank you.
Our last presentation here is from Tradeline. Jasper, you are ready?
Yes, I am.
Perfect. Yeah, we can see your slide is opening and we can see your slide. Perfect. Floor is yours.
Beautiful. We are in the people business. According to the UPU, there's 5.3 million people working in the postal industry. Gallup tells us that 7 out of 10 people are disengaged. That means that 3.7 million people in the postal industry feel like a number. If you want to revolutionize the industry, start with the people. They are the people that are going to help you deliver the customer experience. They are the people that allow you to do transformation, whether it's digital or not. And they are the people that translate your strategic goals into the practical day-to-day actions. In the end of the day, those are the people that are going to define whether or not you're going to succeed in the long run or not. And the cost of this engagement, well, higher recruitment costs and onboarding, loss in potential revenue or fines because of a decrease or lower quality of service, or maybe a lower ROI on investments you've already made because people are simply not using the tools that you provide or not using them correctly. Now, you will have better examples than I do, as the symptoms are a little bit different depending on the organization, but the baseline remains people. So how do we solve that? Well, really simple. We duct tape all your people to the wall, and so they don't leave your organization. Now, obviously, that's not our solution. So Tradler is a software that helps you connect your people to what is important to your organization. We do that automatically, at scale, and personalized. So what you see on the screen, we would work together with you to identify what are the metrics that are important, and we go and celebrate that with your people. So everything you see would be tailored to your organization. A second way how people are earning points is through recognition or virtual high fives. This allows for 360 communication and celebration across every single individual of the organization. They earn points, and those points they can exchange for gifts. This is also one of the main reasons why people are coming back to the platform. We have 80% active usage, and on average, every user comes 2.6 times back to the platform a week. Now, this is something new that I haven't showed the last time. So this allows us to capture relevant information. This information is captured to pulse surveys, or they are captured to performance graphs, but they go into our Genie. Our Genie internally, we call this computer-aided management. And what the Genie does is it learns across all of our customers in how do we best give the right insights to your managers to drive productivity and to drive engagement on each individual level. So this is really providing your managers the right information about the right attention to the right person at the right time. Now, we've done this with PostNL. There were 3 challenges. How do we stay connected with our people? How do we capture relevant data to make decisions? And then there were 2 productivity metrics that we needed to address. Our approach is together with the PostNL project team. We went to identify the relevant metrics. We identified the relevant trial group, and we proactively went to talk to the trade union and to the worker council. We did a pilot for 3 months, and the result is that we celebrated 55,000 times people their work, which doubled the amount of times that people did those actions that we measured. For example, submitting the week planning on time. It's a simple behavior, but it kind of addresses the idea, which gives an instant ROI. Finally, 64% of our users indicate to be better connected to the organization, the manager, and to their colleagues. We are Tradler. We help you solve your goals together with your people. Are there any questions for me?
Thank you, Jasper. Yes, back to the judges. Are there any questions for Tradler?
Hola, Jasper. Hi. Quick question. How do you make the employees using the Tradler system feel rewarded rather than feel observed?
Yeah, so that's a good question. So there's 2 answers to that. So there's obviously a personal part, right? So the recognitions is really working on that personal level, where me as a manager or me as a colleague go and celebrate someone. So that's really addressing the personal side. One of our main concerns when we started is that it can have the idea of like micromanagement, but so far in our, in the feedback that we received, that's actually cross-industry. That was not the case because people already know that they are measured on these elements. We're not measuring anything new, right?
Jasper, I was in close contact with Sand back in the days, and followed your early steps, and I liked that time there was a lot of gamification in this. Is that still a part, or are you shifting a little bit the focus now?
So I like that question. I don't know who it sent you were in touch with, but that's probably a different conversation. But indeed, the gamification is still in there. We're now kind of going back a little bit. We're doing a step back to work on the computer-aided management because we believe that that is the fastest to delivering value. But then the second step is to go and introduce challenges as a result of that information that we capture. So yes, we are still playing around with the gamification. Probably the gamification you remember from Send is celebrating the first rainy day. So that is still very much our approach.
I like the Stairmasters and stuff.
Here we go. Me as well. Any other questions?
Yes, maybe a short one. I was just wondering, on what feature do the employees spend their points? What's their favorite gift?
So that I think, I mean, that question kind of gave me back faith in humanity. But 60% of all the gifts that are used on the platform are actually donations to NGOs. So yeah, that's where people spend their gifts. Now, obviously, there's a tax benefit for the organization, but that we're not going to talk about here. But I mean, yeah, that's what we're seeing. And again, not only in the postal, we see that across industry that happens.
Thank you.
Jasper, just what's the ease of implementation, the process of connecting with the data that you need and then getting that in?
So yeah, great question. So for PostNord, it took on average about 2 weeks, right? We have different ways to integrate. You can obviously choose for a full API, which, I mean, for the compliance part of things later on, when you would scale, that's obviously the way to go. But you can also integrate over SFTP. Typically what we see is that companies either in their ERP or their BI system already have the capability to sending out daily reports in a CSV file or an Excel file, and it can absolutely work only on that report, right? So that's perfect for a trial. That is not disruptive, so that's easy to test it, and then later on we go in and do the implementation. Whether that's direct or through MuleSoft, for example, I mean, that's depending a little bit on the organization itself. Did that answer your question?
Perfect. Jasper,
Just
thank you very
one,
much.
can I
One
have
last question. One last question, Christian. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just wondering, do you see yourself as a standalone app, or do you see it as a part of an integrated app for distribution? Because we don't want to have too many apps, I guess.
I love that question because there was an existential crisis a couple of months ago. So that's a great question. So the way that we've set up the platform is that you can, it's a bit like a Lego box solution, right? So you can put things in, you can put things out. And so how we approached it before, it's like, this is the standalone and that, you know, this is Tradler, but that we saw that doesn't work, right? Because you will already have some tools in place. And rather than saying, or rather than thinking that we can replace this, which is an absolute ridiculous thought, to be honest, right? But we're a startup, we're learning, right? But rather than thinking that we can do that, we now build it in such a way that you can kind of fill the gaps with Tradler, right? So you can say, hey, we already have all the pulse survey capabilities, so we don't need that, but we do want to have the gamification, productivity, and the loyalty, for example. Or we already have a loyalty system, we just integrated in Tradler. So that's all possible.
Good. Thank you very much, Jasper. Good presentation, good questions again. And with Tradler, we have completed the circle here of the presentations today, of the startups today. This was the group Process, Digital and Data. And what is going to happen next is that the judges will discuss after this session and choose 3 among you to qualify for the finals in Vienna. Before we do that, do the judges have one final remark for the presentations that we've heard today, reflecting a bit on what we have seen? Anybody, any of the judges who wants to share some views or some first impressions after these presentations? Of course, I'm always looking at Thierry because he's the chair of the judging panel.
Yeah, if no other one would like to share some insights, I think personally it was a quite fruitful afternoon. We had a good mix, I believe, of startups, different development stages, different maturity levels, also market tractions. But I really like the fact that the solution presented were quite different. And this diversity for me makes the whole event more interesting for the judging panel. At least it's my opinion. But also probably not our assessment as a judge easier. That's another point of view. But let's see, I mean, in the next couple of minutes. Anyway, I think for this interesting exchange, enjoyable moment, a warm thank you actually to all of you, to the startups, but also to my fellow judges. So in a nutshell, this is what I get out of this pitching session, Bernard. And if somebody out of the judging panel would like to add something, feel free. Huh?
Anybody else who wants to make a comment of the judges here?
Could I, first of all, I share Thierry's views there. And I actually thought the presentations were better than the material that was submitted. And it's quite interesting how to get the mix right of that introductory material that we received beforehand and then the actual presentation. The second thing is that, you know, in dealing with innovation to be potentially introduced into an established business, there's an enormous well, I'm not going to say resistance, but there's you have to break in. You have to break into data systems. You have to break into established processes, and always spending a little bit more time saying, this is what this innovation does, and here's a practical example of how it can be embedded or how it can enter into your particular organization and the difficulties and the ease with which that can be done. So that, as you probably gathered from my question, they're always sitting at the back of my mind. But anyway, well done. And again, an interesting mix of presentations. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Elmar. Anybody else?
I can say I completely concur with the two remarks from our fellow judges here, because I think we had some good products this time. Really, not trying to transform the whole business, but actually something that can be adapted into our organizations, and I think that is something that's very interesting. So very good afternoon here.
Thank you very much, Christian. Okay, good. So if there are no further comments at this point, I would like to thank all the judges, all the startups first, for being with us and for sharing your products, your solutions. As you have heard from the judges, it was very, very valuable. So apparently you made a very good impression. So that's already the good part here. For three of you, it will be also very good to continue to the next step, to the finals in Vienna. So this will be the hard choice. And I think it will be quite difficult for the judges to make this choice after this session. But anyway, all of you, thank you very much. I agree with what has been said before by Thierry and the other judges. We had excellent presentations here, and what I personally, I'm not a judge here, you know, but what I personally like, it was very practical, it was very hands-on, excellent use cases, so we could see what you have done so far, which pilots or your implementations. So it was really good to see how your solutions really work and bring value to the market. Thank you very much to you. Thank you very much also to all the people who followed us on YouTube live stream. Of course, as I said, maybe already in the beginning, we record this session, and I know that more people will watch it, of course, after the session. So when we upload it to our YouTube channel, maybe today, maybe tomorrow morning, this will be done. But in any case, we'll put it also on our website on the event page. And you will receive an email with that information. Okay, thank you very much again to the judges as well, of course, because the judges did a great job here. We had many questions, more questions than last week, I had the impression. We were going a little bit over time for most of the presentations. You might have realized that. So even though it's 8 minutes, for most of the startups, we used 9 minutes plus. Since one startup canceled only this morning, we really had a few minutes more, and I thought, okay, let's take the time and use it for the discussions. It's simply valuable. So thank you very much to everybody. Don't miss our next session. The next category will be e-commerce, retail, and cross-border, which will take place next Tuesday on the 22nd. I hope you'll again all be with us. For today, that's it. I only ask now the judges to stay with me here. I will again thank you very much to the participants on YouTube live stream. I'll switch off the live stream now, and to the startups as well. I would ask you as well to leave the meeting room here, the virtual meeting room, so that the judges can discuss in private who they are going to choose. Thank you very much again to everybody, and have a great remaining day. Goodbye.